What is that? What is that? The internet screaming at us?
Have we locked someone in the cupboard? Are they screaming at us? What's going on? I'm actually just a plumber, and I'm like, do you know what? I don't have any professional actor. I just need to do it myself. How the hell do you cast that? Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
In the end of the 4th episode, there may be some nudity.
See, coffee shop was the problem. It wasn't AIDS.
It was.
Oh.
Even if I get killed right now, this is still one of my best experiences so far.
Welcome to Amigospc. If you were looking for a podcast with high standards and an appreciation for the finer things in life, like water polo, ballet, equestrian riding, cricket, and trips to the countryside, you're in the wrong place. If you're looking for a podcast that celebrates drinking, random thoughts, wacky conspiracies, memes, crypto, cinema, and a lot of other things that don't really make any sense, then you're in the right place. This is Amigospc, and here are your hosts, Scott and Mark.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You're hearing this for a reason. You haven't subscribed to the Amigos membership on Super Cash yet. For as little as $5, you can get access to our feed with no ads and exclusive membership discounts and merch.
Jump up to our $30 tier and get everything plus direct access to us via our Discord channel, live Amigo AMAs, quarterly giveaways, and crypto merch. For $1 a day or less, you can support an Amigo out.
Amigos, back at it again. Today we have a special guest, Saul Marron. He has this pretty awesome project that kind of is fitting to our style of show and our graphics, surprisingly. An 80s type, it is late 80s, correct, Sean?
Yeah, I'm gonna. My name's Saul, by the way. I should start.
Saul. Sorry,
I was being British. I was like, do I correct him or do I just go with him?
Just go with it. No, I'm
still British.
Okay, first off, I'm really sorry about that. I am terrible with names.
I am as well.
Special needs.
And I'm literally reading it from my notepad, so on my phone. So that's even worse. It's getting worse.
It's right in front of you, and you're still like,
yeah.
He looks like a Sean to me. I'm gonna call him Sean.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna keep that now. Again, apologies. So yeah, it's like in the late 80s, right?
Yeah.
With everything?
So yeah, it's set in a kind of like a non-specified part of the 80s, but in my head it's around 87, 88 that I've pitched it.
Nice. And the project itself is called a Psychic PD, and Night Division is part of the season name or something like that, correct?
The whole show is one long title. It's Chantelle, Psychic PD, Night Division. I was like, if I'm going to go with a title, I'm going to go with the longest. I'm going to make people remember it. Or just go, what? What was that? And then never think of it again. It's either or. I'm not sure how it works.
The concept, though, is hilarious. So this I don't want to give too much away, but to just give like a little synopsis, if you could just entertain us as to like what's the backdrop of everything.
Well, first of all, I think I need to know what words am I allowed to use? Can I curse on this show?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. So basically, it's the polite way of putting it is 80s lady of the night, ex-hooker, basically ex-lady of the night, who has turned psychic police detective in London. And it's basically, it follows, there's two sides of the story. One is it follows the TV show itself as she uses her sexy touch, for want of a better phrase, to divine clues from perps, from dead bodies, from victims. And then the other side of the show is the behind the scenes of all the actors on the show and how their lives are intertwined. And they're basically all just awful human beings who are trying to put themselves first.
Which is most 80s stars it turns into, right? When they come back together, you find
husky.
them. Yeah.
Say that again.
No, what I was saying was that's what happens with most 80s stars when they come back. You see them, they turn into complete.
Exactly. Yeah. Their egos have just been, kind of like have gained traction, and that with I think wealth and non-stop partying, and obviously it's the 80s, so a whole boatload of cocaine as well, I'm sure. Just season 2 stars suddenly get ahead of themselves.
So I watched some of the episode itself when you first had reached out to us, and it's hilarious. Like, just the way her techniques are.
Yeah.
And getting like the evidence that she needs, and then, like you're saying, there's like 2 aspects of this, right? And then it's tell all of them kind of going back and forth of what transpired in between the detective scene. I don't know. I think that it's a good dynamic is what I'm kind of getting at. It feels like you get the story as to what she's doing, and and how her technique works, right? Or what's being detectived. I don't know. That's not the right way to say that, but
investigated.
And then you get their backstory, right?
Yeah. So I think it's the premise behind. Originally, I made a proof of concept short, just kind of going, hey, here's this weird 80s neon Lady of the Night show with, like as much smoke and kind of dark alleyways and gunshots as I could do. And I kind of went, I like this, I love the idea, but I much prefer this just random snapshot of this is what's happening in this particular episode. Like you just cut to one scene where they're in a morgue and she happens to be on the top of a corpse, divining clues about who his murderer was. And I kind of went, that's a good premise, but we need more to this. And that's suddenly where just who are these human beings? Like, who are these actors who, because I'm an actor myself, I know what it's like you can work with fantastic cast members and you can work with others that you do your job, you go home again, and you don't necessarily interact. In the case of the cast of this show, some of them are husbands, some of them are having, secret relationships. Everyone's stabbing each other in the back. And I just thought that was a great premise to have alongside the kind of the 80s London sexiness. I was like, all right, let's see some even more awful people, but in my version of real life.
It's great that I don't know. I really related though to. And maybe that's just the vibe, the 80s thing. Yeah, her lovely tactics is what I related to. Yeah,
I was wondering what you were going to say there. I was like, which character do you relate to most? I'm
curious.
Well, no, it's the vibe. Really, I relate it, and I don't know if it's just like the time, like it's kind of making its roar back, right?
Yeah,
or something. But it the way you're portraying it, at least, it gave me the vibes of when I was a kid, growing up. Neon lights, all of basically our logo, right?
Exactly.
Everything that vibes off of that in its entirety. Why then is my question.
I'm a lover of B movies, from 30s Bela Lugosi kind of, all the way up through Vincent Price and Hammer Horror, and then you get to the 80s, which is, I think, just my golden decade of just the shittiest, like but back when the video nasties were just getting pumped out for any video shop, that they could get their hands on. So there's these gems in there that are badly directed, badly acted, but have some gorgeous lighting or like this amazing, sexy soundtrack, and I can find a joy in any of those things. It's 1 a.m. now my time. This is normally the time when I stick on an old crappy 80s B movie because it's the perfect time for it. I love that aesthetic. I love that neon kind of sultry, sexy, slightly dirty vibe of the 80s. Yeah, and I think it just spoke to me, especially with this storyline. It can be set anytime, I suppose, but the 80s vibe massively kind of just gives it another edge, gives it another. And you're right, it is the right time. Kung Furies did amazingly well, and they've just made a feature film, and I think a second one. There's this 80s kind of resurgence.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to, I suppose, get an 80s B movie resurgence rather than just the quality stuff. It's I want to see the trashier side again.
So what's your go-to then? Late at night, instead of coming on the Amigos podcast, you're ready to pull in your VHS.
Yeah.
What's the go-to movie?
Well, it's December now, so I'm starting all the Christmas horror films, and there's not a huge amount in the 80s, but there is Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they go from the 80s all the way through to the 90s. They get progressively worse, even though they're bad to begin with, but they're amazing bad to begin with, and then they kind of slow down. But basically, it's just an excuse to dress someone up as a Santa and just have lots of different killings. You know, there's no other occasional nudity, as is the way in the 80s. It's just your standard, but there's Christmas behind it, so you feel like you're doing something seasonal.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm watching right now.
That is hilarious. I actually have not heard of that at all, so I want to check that out now.
Yeah, again, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Give it the whole title. 1 and 2 are great. 5 is weirdly good. Oh no, 4 is weirdly good, and then 5 you're just like, okay, well, I've seen that. I can at least tell people who don't care that I've seen that. That's
What non-horror movie or B movie that you like Christmas-wise that you watch every year? Maybe is there something that you watch that because it's that
like
time
a
of year?
specific Christmas B movie?
Yeah.
Oh, this is I was about to say trilogy, but what's 5 movies in a row?
5.
I watch occasionally stuff like
one?
Krampus and newer stuff, but it doesn't have the same ring to me. You know, I'll happily watch any trashy Hallmark Christmas movie. I'm not, you know, my partner loves that kind of woman moves back to her old town to save a store from closing, falls in love kind of stuff. I'll watch that till, you know, the cows come home, but yeah, when it comes to Christmas time, it is definitely Silent Night, Deadly Night. I feel like I should be getting paid for this promotion for that. Like if someone from the 80s is like, I just got a bonus check through.
Just keep checking your faxes.
This film finder?
Keep checking your faxes. They're going to send you a fax.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta get it out of the cupboard and just blow the dust off it.
Yep.
Just sit by it all in December.
Yep.
What is that? What is that? The internet screaming at us?
Have we
AOL
locked someone
dial-up.
in the cupboard? Are they screaming at us? What's going on?
So it seems like maybe the 80s has huge influence on you when it comes to the projects that you like, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a kid of the 80s as well. You know, like I've unfortunately recently just turned 40, so I'm kind of like my nostalgia has gone right back to the 80s, and it's, you know, from cartoons to TV shows.
So where did it start then? Like where did all the you know, I'm gonna get into acting, I'm gonna start creating films and projects and things like that. Where did that all trigger?
What, the 80s stuff or the acting stuff?
Just you in general. Like when did you decide, you know what, I'm gonna I'm getting into acting, film creating?
As a teenager, I was that guy. You know, the one he's just not right in the classroom. There's, you know, like there's something, he won't shut up. And I didn't know what was, you know, you went to school with him. You might have been the two. You might have been those guys. And then I had a mate who was never free on a Friday night, and because he went to like some acting school, you know, with his mates, and I turned up there and I was like, this is a room full of equally loud, annoying people. This is where I belong. And then it's just continued from there. You know, I went to acting school, went to drama school here in London, and then have just been in the business for the past 15, 16 years. And then, you know, I've been lucky enough to work, which is not the case for all actors. And then I kind of decided that I wasn't always getting the stuff I wanted to, so why not just start making my own and, you know, writing my own. And over the course of the time, I've found amazing cinematographers and amazing sound people who get what I'm doing and don't think I'm completely crazy for, you know, sticking a corpse in front of them and go, just shoot it from this angle, blow more smoke in, blow more smoke. Like they're like, I know exactly what you want. How's this shot? And I'm like, all right, you're a keeper. And so it's just gone from there. Like I basically, you know, I've taken projects I've done for BBC and, you know, I've taken that kind of BBC paycheck and went, all right, well, what can I make with this? What can I make that I want to see, that at least 4 to 5 other people in the world might want to see as well.
That's awesome though, because I mean, now you're like, you took a project that you not necessarily wanted to work on. You took, obviously you did it, right? But then you're using that capital to fund a passion project.
And don't get me wrong, I shouldn't criticize the BBC. I love that gig. That was amazing. Big budget, more cameras and crew than you've ever seen. And all right, well, I'm going to do the opposite of that. And there's going to be 5 of us in a room with no air conditioning in the middle of summer, and we've got 3 days to shoot 4 episodes. Let's go. And it is that kind of old. I don't know. I love the old Ed Wood kind of filming. Just he's hired a studio with a little bit of money he's got. Let's just see how much we can crank out in a short amount of time. Surround yourself with talented people is basically what I've done. They make me look better.
That's awesome.
And they make my money stretch far further than if it was just me by myself.
If you had to pick which one you prefer the most, is it writing, directing, or acting?
It's weird. If it's not my project, I like acting a lot. It's amazing. Someone goes, hey, here's a character. We trust you. What we've seen already, you can do this and you can make it believable. Weirdly, when it's my own stuff, acting's the last. Even though I've written it, I've been around it, it's in my head, for hundreds, if not thousands of hours. I turn up and I'm like, oh God, I need to do a scene now. But you're still directing, and you're still your first AD, and you're still helping with making sure that the people in makeup are there for the next scene that's in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
As you just reel out your lines because I have 10 minutes doing my scenes and they've got 2 hours, and making sure that catering's turning up, that I've ordered Domino's in time. So it's kind of, I don't know, I love pre-production, weirdly. I love all the stuff that I know has been in my head, and I've gathered all the props and the costumes, and I've sourced everything to see it through the lens of the camera and go, oh my God, that's at least 60% of what was in my brain. That's amazing. If I got 10%, I would have been happy. But to see what was in my crazy thought was in my brain finally in front of me, I think that's my favorite part. That I have some kind of power to do that. That it's not just weird, fanciful ideas. That I'm like, oh no, it's fine. I did this. I'm responsible for this, unfortunately, but also, for good and bad, that I've created this.
That's awesome.
That is great. So with acting, things like that, do you Scott kind of already went over this with you're preferring the big projects, you prefer to act with not your own material. You've been doing, it sounds like with your own material you've been writing for quite a while then, correct? Yeah, I've
in many different kind of genres and kind of so I started off just doing sketches years ago. I weirdly did a lot of work for this company who make called Big Red Button in the UK, and they make, if it's mainstream but bizarre, it's them. From adverts to TV, they're like the BBC version of weird. And they were one of my first acting jobs in my early 20s, and they kept just writing stuff for me, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then one day they turned around and went, look, you've done so much for us, we can't thank you enough. And I felt like going, no, hang on a second, you gave me my career in weird stuff when no one else was. And they're like, if you want ever to film anything, just let us know. I was like, yeah, cool, give me a minute. And I went away and I wrote some sketches, some dark kind of weird sketches based off the stuff that I loved growing up. And we filmed like a 4-part pilot, just 4 long form sketches, and that was enough to kind of get my name around. And it was, at that time, mid-noughties, it was so beautifully shot because people didn't have the same cameras they had nowadays. To have access to that kind of level of camera was studio quality. And so I was just pitching this stuff about the place, and it meant that other people asked me to write, and it just one led to another. And so I've been really lucky with that, of kind of being part of other people's projects, and also just getting to make my own as well. I kind of realized a long time ago, if I don't make it, no one else is going to, so why not just make the weird nonsense that's in my brain?
Hence our show.
Exactly. You had an idea, you went with it, and now you're stuck with this Scottish guy at 1 a.m.
Dreams come true.
But it sounds like
Like
But
a
it
ginger
sounds like,
Santa Claus. There you go. Here's your gift
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, it sounds like you found your groove though. Like I don't, the kind of weird, right? And the obtuse, I guess. It's not a genre. That's not a genre in like when you go to find a movie. It's not a that's not. There's usually comedy, action, or something along those lines. And you're like, well, they let me start writing this weird stuff, and here we are.
Yeah, and I tried not to for a while. Like I wrote the pilot for a mainstream British radio. I won't say, but like standard comedy. Standard. You get X amount of laughs. Here's the beginning, middle, and end, and that's fine. And you can kind of needle your own kind of humor in a little bit, but ultimately, it's got to come back to what the overall vision is. And then with this, I'm not setting out to be weird or, quirky or kind of like offensive. It's just what makes me chuckle to myself. Like when I can't sleep at 2 a.m. in the morning, it's because I've got this idea that, there's a woman from London wanking off a corpse in an alleyway and divining psychic clues from it. I know that's not your normal thought, but yeah. Sorry, that was quite crude. I apologize, but that's the show.
No, that's good.
Yeah, but normally you have to pay extra for that, so it's
exactly. But he's dead; he doesn't have to pay a thing. That's the beauty of it.
That's true. He paid the ultimate price.
But with that, it is like. Again, I never set out to make stuff that's like controversial. It literally just is. This is what I find funny. I don't know what genre it fits under, unless you want to put it under 80s. That's about it.
Yeah. I didn't mean it like weird.
Oh, no.
Right?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I would say it's like
unique.
To me,
I'll take anything.
Comedy.
Like I'm very aware that this is not mainstream comedy or mainstream show, so I'm not easily offended.
I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, "This is brilliant! Like, I can't believe that this isn't a thing already." Like,
thanks, man.
I'm just now stumbling across it. Like, and maybe it is just the smoke that was in some of the intro, the 80s vibe that was rolling through, and then coming into the one scene where she is doing her detective work.
She's such a detective. She's so diligent at her job. You got to respect that.
She gets it done.
So, did you hire like a company to source the people that are involved in your project? You were talking about one, you're a famous detective, but then you're also in this, so obviously you source yourself. But camera, things like
That's
that.
just a budget thing. That's just I think I can't afford anyone else. I'm actually just a plumber, and I'm like, do you know what? I don't have any professional actor. I just need to do it myself. Like you, Ben, can sort itself later. It's fine.
So, but are these like friends in the business, or how did sourcing, getting the project coming up go?
So I do a lot of the theatre work I do is a show called tfaced Shakespeare, and I've been with it for like 10 years. I've been with it since day dot, and we've toured America with it, we've toured Australia with it. We've just literally finished a UK tour, and so I've worked with these guys for close to a decade. And we do live improv all the time. So it's basically take a reduced Shakespeare play of an hour, get one of the cast member drunk, and then the rest of you have to improvise whatever they come up with. We just said Romeo and Juliet. If they decide that, if Juliet decides she's dead and she's not getting back up again, then the rest of us are like, fuck, what do we do now? If both of them decide not to die, what do you do? And so I just, I've been really lucky to work with these amazing actors and improvisers. And I'm like, all right, here's some funny stuff I think's funny. What do you make of it? And know that they're good enough to take this little bit of script and just turn it into these just phenomenal performances. I don't think the show would be anywhere near as good if they just weren't like, they've got funny bones running through them. They're just... Yeah, so I've worked with them for years, and I was very lucky like that, because how the hell do you cast that? It's what kind of SAG job is like? Okay, great. May require brief nudity and to mount a corpse. There's a. It's not your usual casting breakdown.
I'd like to see like the actual audition role for the audition tape.
Just, I'd love that. Just
a
every
mannequin
version
on the floor,
of them trying to like believably divine psychic clues whilst semi-nude. I feel like I would be in prison if I had to cast this outside of my friends. It'd be worth
That
it,
or
but I'd
you-
be in prison.
It's either that or you're really famous on like YouPorn or something.
Yeah, this guy.
Have you seen this subcategory?
Yeah. I would like to stress that there's not a single bit of actual nudity in the whole of the show. Just,
That is, yeah.
just sexy sexiness.
You just let all the listeners down right now.
Oh yeah, I should tease them. There may be nudity in the show.
There could be. Keep watching more. There could be.
Yeah, just get them in the end of the 4th episode. There may be some nudity, but you've got to watch all of them just to get
All
there.
of them to get there. Smart.
They get to the 4th. All of a sudden, you have like the worst reviews like on IMDb for the 4th episode.
Yeah,
You
Because
said
they're
there was
waiting.
nudity, and
there
there
wasn't no
wasn't.
tits in this. I wanted to see them boobies. Where them big boobies at? Don't know why I'm a southern guy. That's weird.
But it was accurate.
Yeah.
That was accurate.
I feel like improv it's like an underrated art in the most part. Like I just recently took the wife out to a local improv theater here to go see a show, and I honestly walked in thinking it was just a regular stand-up comedy show.
Yeah.
And then, the improv broke out and they're using all these different objects and things like that. I just feel like it is definitely something that's underrated. Like not a lot of people think, improv and comedy.
It's such a weird thing because there's such a scope of different improv, and I've been to see those nights of, young comedians trying it, and it's like, hey, think of an object, and it can be. I've been in 2-hour-long painful shows where they're still in the rehearsal stage of like being so off the cuff there, and then you watch something like Whose Line Is It Anyway, and
Yeah.
their heads are amazing. Like how you
Yeah.
come up with just the funniest stuff just like that. And weirdly, I'm slightly nervous of that kind of improv because I've never had to do that version of it. I'm either improving my own lines because I know the script so well, or with Shakespeare, I know what the story's supposed to be. I know where we're supposed to kind of get to, and we've done this the normal play so often in rehearsals that you know each other's parts, and so trying to improvise that way is like long form. It's a really different version of it, and that's the version I learned just by doing the show again and again, and you kind of learn the rhythms of it and you learn what you can get away with. So yeah, improv's a weird one. It can be hysterical, or it can be some college students just being like, please think I'm funny, please.
Yeah.
I think I had
funny.
coffee shop. What
AIDS.
Literally no
Someone
coffee.
said AIDS.
What?
Oh, what?
Come on, guys, help me.
How do you
help
use that? No. Coffee shop and AIDS.
Guys, I didn't think this was the kind of show I was going on. This is a little bit crass for me, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. And
Because of AIDS. AIDS ruined it for
I'm
you.
British, don't you know? I can't be seen doing this kind of thing. It's really no.
Oh. That's crazy,
Leave it to me.
right? Ruined it right out the
Ruined it
window.
with one word.
AIDS. Hey, that's a first. I guess
Yeah,
decides
no.
to bail after AIDS. That's
Just
It's definitely the tagline.
He's like, I regret this.
Yeah, we're
this
good.
is. I mean,
Leave.
I've made some weird shit, but this guys is just another level.
You guys took it to another level.
Another level.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Sorry, I keep drinking my water, by the way, during this. I hope that doesn't mess up your sound too much. I'm trying to
Oh,
do
no,
it
no,
between
no.
people.
My voice is.
You should be doing adverts right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm at,
we believe
yeah,
you should know your coverage strength before you commit. T-Mobile. He's such a husky,
Yeah.
selling like
I know,
rugged
his
diapers or
voice-
something.
His voice usually isn't as deep and
As it isn't. Yeah.
as
It's
lovely as it is today.
Just, yeah.
That must have
this
been
is not
some
my
nap.
radio
Yeah,
voice.
that's crazy. That is crazy.
This is not my radio voice. Normally it's weaker. I guess you could say it's not as strong as it.
Just a bit.
Yeah, it's more more I don't know, more high pitch. I guess it would be. I guess I don't know.
You normally sound like Pee Wee Herman, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, that's normally how it is. Yeah, this is weird for me.
It's funny. I called him Large Marge just earlier today.
Yeah, see.
It's funny you bring up Pee Wee.
It was obviously inevitable that it was you decided to sound like that.
Well, he did just time travel to be on the show, so
guys, I'm filling it all from my side. If you guys could just catch up with me, just join me in the future.
It is the next day there.
Yeah.
I like this. This is hilarious. The improv in itself, right here. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
did I hear coffee shop? No, you still did not hear coffee shop.
No coffee shops. See, coffee shop was the problem. It wasn't AIDS.
It was.
Oh.
That's what the problem.
You got to appreciate a man coming back to the joke again. You're like, no, I'm going to get it from this one. I'm going to.
I am all in. Great callback, Scott.
If I've learned anything from improv, it's 16th times the charm. So you just keep
poking it.
It's gonna work. One of these times, it's gonna work.
The joke to work is not guaranteed.
Oh, shit.
Scott's like, do you know what, Saul? I'm actually going to cancel this interview now. I'm just going to rip on me my Pee Wee Herman-ness. I'm not going to take any more.
Oh, Scott's he's used to the beatings.
Yeah.
That's his side gig. That's what we have to pay extra for.
Pay extra for the
just
beating.
The dominatrix side of Scott.
Yep. Yeah. Safe words. Pay extra for the safe words.
Sorry, where were we? What were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about improv, and I think we just rolled right into it, which was pretty hilarious.
This is the weirdest interview for a desk clerk I've ever had. This is really strange.
Yeah.
When did you
start? When did you start diving into improv? Like, you said that you've always been this loud kid, but when did it really you're like, you know what, this is it?
Shakespeare, to be honest. Honestly, before that, if anyone had told me when I was studying in the first few years of my career that I was going to be doing either Shakespeare or improv, I'd be like, no, I am going to be awful at both of those. We didn't tend to do. We did a lot of classical text, but we didn't really touch. We did one Shakespeare play in the whole of my uni days, and even then, I think I had 5 lines in it or something. I was playing a homeless guy in Julius Caesar, this soothsayer, and then a friend of mine who used to run a theatre tent in a music festival was like, "Hey, do you want to come and direct this show?" Which he came up with drunk one night on the back of a napkin, and then the newspaper, the Independent from the UK, called them about theatre in music festivals, and they told them this idea, and they're like, "Oh, we got to make this now." And it just because I was one of the first people to do it, we made up the rules, and then more and more talented people came along, and I said we've been all over the world with it. We've done the West End with it every year. And just you have these amazing actors come, and just when you think you've got it, they're like, no, but this is funny. And then you're like, cool,
nice.
Well, we've got this. And then the next year, this is funny. My first year, I used to come out and drunk and be halfway through Romeo and Juliet, halfway through Macbeth, just get the audience to sing California Dreamin' theme song or Dawson's Creek theme tune. And I was like, I'm a comedy genius. And when you've got 500 people singing, I don't want to wait. And then you learn, you're like, I don't think that's actually improv. I think that's just, you're a drunk dick and you're remembering old theme songs. And so now, after 10 years of it, it's second nature. You just someone will say something and you're like, I know what's funny. I know what line and you make it sound Shakespearean, but it's nonsense. Just add a thee and a they and a doth around the actual words. Truly, my lord, your mother doth suck it. It all sounds Shakespearean.
Sounded so proper.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know he didn't write that. That could have come from any of the plays.
Yeah.
So improv before this show, really not. But I think it's lent itself to me writing more comedy, because I did just straight stuff before all the stuff I wrote, my early career, and actually most of my other stuff outside of Shakespeare and of the stuff I write, it's serious, you know, like it's weirdly I get cast as the straight guy, you know. So, you know, I'm funny. Well, I think I'm funny behind the scenes, but then it's back into serious dude when it's in front of the camera.
It sounds like the Shakespeare show, honestly, is like a dream job for me and Scott. You get
Whereabouts
drunk,
are you guys
and then you
based?
just try to make people laugh. Like, that's
Where are you
exactly
based?
what we try to do. What was that?
Where in America are you based?
So I'm in Arizona on the West Coast, but Scott's like in the middle of
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
I was gonna try. So basically, when we went out to America, we taught a whole bunch of young Bostonian actors how to get drunk for a living, and we were there for a month. We did the show, and then we kind of just buggered off and went, "Good luck, don't die," and then went back to the UK. And they're still out there. So if anyone's in Boston, you can go and see that show.
Good luck. Yeah.
We were in Atlanta. We were in Austin, Texas. It's back in Austin, Texas as well. I'm just plugging my show now. That's good.
No, that's good. That's what you're here for. That's good.
That is exactly what you're here for. So,
but yeah, if you can drink and you're good at Shakespeare, then you know you've got a job.
Yeah.
That's all you
One
need.
out of two.
oh well, I mean, I can do one of those things.
Yeah, 50%.
Just you sitting on the stage, just crying with a whiskey in your hand. That's
I could do that.
Yeah.
That's second nature.
good. That's a Monday morning to me.
That was just before he came on.
Yeah.
His voice is all raspy right now.
That is true. Crying.
I'm waiting for the age joke to come up any second now. I don't know why.
It's in time. You gotta let it build.
Yeah,
We gotta come
let
back to it
things-
somehow.
Yeah.
I've got an excuse. It's 1:30 in the morning. I can be delirious. You guys, this is, you know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
This
well,
is-
no, it's dinner time here, so I guess that's
Well, what
Normal.
are we in a food coma? It's
no. I don't know.
Just Thanksgiving.
These are
is
more responsible
continued.
times
You're
to
like,
drink.
yeah. Thanksgiving is continued.
Pass me the expired candy jams. I don't care if there's mold on them. I want them.
What is your what would be your favorite Thanksgiving item? I know this turned completely
I'm in
nowhere.
London, so this is a weird one. I watched there's a site called YouTube. I don't know if you know it, but they have lots of
No.
videos.
Is it new?
It's an up and coming site,
Okay.
but they had like I think it was BuzzFeed or something was comparing our Christmas dinners to American Thanksgiving dinners, and you know I grew up with Beavis and Butthead and stuff, and they're talking about
Okay.
candy jams, and
Same.
I had no idea what that was, and I saw it the other day, and it's like cooked yams
Mhm.
with marshmallow on top
Yeah.
Yeah.
next to gravy, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I just the 8-year-old in me is like, oh my god, I want that in my mouth right now. I want to eat it.
Yeah.
I don't care what else. But my adult brain's like, what?
Gross.
But it's next to gravy. Like that's. Do you guys have do you have the white gravy or like the British gravy for
Just like the brown.
Thanksgiving?
We do brown.
The brown
There's
gravy.
white gravy. Oh, there is white gravy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first time I went to Austin and I was hungover and I was like, oh, I want some gravy and biscuits or something. I can't remember what it was. And then this thing turned up and I was like,
White.
that's
Yeah.
not what I wanted. If I wasn't going to throw up right now, I would have that any other time. But my drunken brain is like, that's not what you wanted in your body right now. Right? And I just
Yeah.
could eat it. It was like this thick, white, southern gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's biscuits and gravy right there.
Yep.
Yeah, for me,
Thanksgiving-
that's like getting the brown gravy and putting on a chocolate chip cookie. That's my version of biscuits and gravy.
yeah, that
That's what it
doesn't sound
sounds
good.
like in my head.
That doesn't sound good.
So all cookies are biscuits in the UK. All like everything, even a
Oh,
chocolate chip
see,
cookie
we're
is a
learning.
biscuit.
Yeah.
I knew that.
And we only have brown gravy.
No white gravy?
Why is
That's
No.
racist.
brown?
I
That's
actually quite
racist.
like white gravy, but it's just not. I'm not used to it enough.
Yeah.
I love where this conversation's going. It's just like
We
colours
have
of
no
gravy.
direction here, so
Yeah,
it
no, it
just
doesn't
goes
work.
into one thing. Now I'm curious though, like, so you were watching these videos, right? On this
On this
up and
new
coming
site.
platform called
Yeah,
YouTube.
new site.
yeah,
Yeah, brand new site. I can't believe it. The internet, it's just moving.
crazy.
It is.
I think they get something like over 10 minutes of video is uploaded every day to that site now, which just
Wow.
is insane.
It is booming.
That is insane.
That
that is
is, yeah.
crazy. and like 30 seconds of those are ours.
Yeah. No, it's just Scott doing the AIDS joke again and again and again.
Yeah,
apparently I'm the one who's going to keep repeating the AIDS joke.
I know, so you keep bringing it back. You're going to get the
I'm going to take your
limelight,
limelight, Scott. I'm going to take the big laugh for this one.
Yeah, you're the guest. I'm being a nice host. You can have it. Keep running with it.
I'm going to go tomorrow and be like, oh, how was your interview? It's like, yeah, I feel like 90% of it was just we used the same A word again and again and again. I don't think any of it is published.
Gravy.
But we'll see.
Gravy and AIDS. Could be the name of the show episode.
Watch if it's trending on YouTube tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Everybody's looking up gravy, and it's not what they thought it was. It's at least not white gravy.
Yeah.
No, and
true.
I mean, I think the thing I love most about Thanksgiving is its proximity to Christmas. Like, where all year we're like, oh, God, I can't, we have Sunday roast. My mum's from, she's from up north in England, and that is Sunday roast. Like, oh, we're going to have, your gravy's got to be thick, like, it's got to be, your roasting it's lovely. Like, it is part of their religion in the north of England. But Christmas dinner is this huge feast that happens once a year. And you guys, do Thanksgiving, and then we're like, cool, do you know what we should do now? Let's just do this all again.
Let's do it at Christmas.
Like, that part I admire, how you do a family get-together, everyone goes home, and then, is it a month and a half? A month?
Yeah.
What is it?
Not even. It's like a month later.
Less than a month. It's just it's like a month.
It's like 25 and 25. It's like 30 days later.
And then you're like, you know who I want to see again? My fucking crazy uncle. My mum who won't shut up about whether or not I'm married yet. I can't wait to do that. Let's all get drunk again and just shout.
There you go. You pick one.
The one in my family is. So what are you thankful for?
Oh yeah.
Well, I think we did this on Thanksgiving, didn't we? Well, why are we doing this again?
This is not thanks Christmas. No, this is just give me presents, now feed me, and I'll be on my way. Let's just wrap this up. Pardon the pun.
I've been trying to tell my wife to let's not have family over during the holidays for at least half a decade now, and I lose that battle every time. It's like what you're expected to do, and I say I just turned 40, and on pain of death, I don't go home for Christmas back home to Scotland. Like, it doesn't matter how old I get. Is it warrant?
You have warrants?
Yeah, it just get back up here. Just the kind of guilt trip I would have for the next year. Last year was the first year in my whole life because of COVID that I couldn't leave London to go back.
Yeah,
and there was no way I was going to endanger my older parents. But my mum was she was too okay about it to begin with. She's like, no, of course, your dad and I understand. No, we would never expect you to be as anyone in danger and stuff. And then slowly but surely, the passive aggressive comments started to come out, which they stopped being passive aggressive and were just downright well, if you don't care about your father and I at a time such as Christmas. My mum becomes Edwardian when she gets upset, apparently. Yeah. She's just like, your father's been down the mine all year. It'd be lovely to see you, what with his black lung. I genuinely don't know where we're going with this anymore.
No, I like it. Holiday fun. Yeah. Aren't they so fun?
But no, hats off to you. That's a stronger family dynamic if you can do that twice in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It is twice in 30 days.
Willingly, it's definitely not that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, you keep saying, I don't know where we're going with all this stuff. At this point, this is where we transition into asking specific questions on the show, generally. Okay. So Scott's going to pull some questions
Random
that we have.
questions, which is what we've already been doing, but we're going to continue those.
I hope you took that as a criticism, by the way, that I don't know where we're going with. It was really just criticizing your whole, presenting style. I just wanted to make sure it was clear where I stand.
No, we loved it. It's good.
No, that's... You know what? The interview's over. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
You're 59 minutes and 59 seconds.
I'm out.
Yeah, I cannot stand this guy for one more second. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, this is the first time all three of us wanted to leave. So mark this on the calendar.
to Hugh Grant about it, like, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean
time
to
to
want to leave, but, you know, if you want to leave, you can. I don't mind. I don't mind.
Okay. Would you ever pick up a hitchhiker?
No.
Have you?
No, I've been a hitchhiker.
The way you made it
once
sound
in
like
my
you've
life.
had it happen before.
That's why he won't.
No, this is awful because I've been given the best experience. My initial thing, and it goes back to 80s horror films.
Okay.
Having watched, is it The Hitchhiker or The Hitcher? Who's the bad guy from Blade Runner? The actor.
The first one or the
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, the first one.
crappy
Yeah.
new one?
Rutger Hauer.
Mm-hmm.
Rutger Hauer is in this 80s film I saw when I was far too young, where he just hitches across America and just kills families and just leaves dead bodies strewn. And for that reason, I should. I once got my stuff nicked when I was traveling in Italy, and I was in Pisa, and me and this guy were staying in a hostel. All our stuff was nicked, and we're in the middle of the countryside. And so we're like, how the fuck do we get anywhere? Like, how do we get even back into the main cities without walking miles and miles? And he just stuck his thumb out, and the first car to arrive was like this gorgeous. It was a BMW or a Mercedes or something, and it was the guy in the front was a chauffeur, and he was on the way to pick up his boss, or on his way from lunch and picking up his boss. He's like, get in, guys. So we just had this luxury ride into Pisa. And like that could not have worked out better. Even if I get killed right now, this is still one of my best experiences so far. Like, this is hands down, everyone should hitch based on this one event.
But you would never pick one up.
No.
No.
Mainly because I can't drive, and I feel like I would kill them within seconds of them being in the car.
Nice. Okay.
I shouldn't be behind the wheel, so.
Don't you think that like Uber is just like a modern version of hitchhiking?
That's what I mean. Would you send a hitchhiker an Uber?
Just
because you can do that now.
them.
Probably like, oh, I don't want to get him, but I'm going to put this other Uber person in danger, and that's a possibility.
The Uber drivers just think they're doing really great work all day. They're just like, I'm so caring. Like, I've picked up so many people
so many
today.
hitchhikers.
Yeah. I mean, I've made a shit ton of money from it, but also I'm a really giving human being.
Yeah. That is really what a giving job that is. It's good. All right, what secret conspiracy would you like to start?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to need about 1 or 2 hours to think about this.
Okay. We'll hold.
What answers have you had before? Spark something in me. I need to.
This is brand new.
Oh, what? That's a brand new question.
Yeah.
What would you guys
wait,
do?
That's not how we answer that.
What would we do?
Yeah.
That is a good question.
It's not an easy
Thinking
one.
about this. It is
No,
not.
yeah.
I guess you could take a normal conspiracy and tweak it, maybe. But people do that all the time.
It's not a conspiracy. I'd like the stuff we think are conspiracies already, some of it to be true. Do you like?
I bet you there's some.
There's
There's a percentage of all of them that probably have some truth to
I mean,
them.
9/11 is real.
Yeah, it happened.
It did happen. So there's truth there.
No one will believe you, but it happened.
But it did happen. Those buildings are not there anymore.
We're all gonna die eventually. Before I die, just show me an alien. I'm not gonna tell nobody. Just open a little cheeky door and show me an alien. I'll keep streaming. It's fine.
All
From
right.
the sky or an illegal one?
Oh,
No, from the
we-
sky.
We have a lot. We have some of those here. We have some of those here.
Yeah, because I mean, I could show you my garden.
He's in Arizona, so they're right there.
That took a sudden turn. That was just
Yeah. He's right there.
Yeah, I'd like to just maybe the whole world just to be allowed to go. I knew it, and then we'll
Yeah.
move on because no one cares. You can tell people anything nowadays, and we get over it. You know, we're all surrounded by politicians that they do awful things. You're like, oh, that's awful. I'm really angry, and then next week you're like, gone.
Yeah,
it's
they
completely
pretty much
forgotten.
watered
Something
it down
else.
or numbed it to us to where whatever they do, it's kind of like, oh, that's expected.
Yeah.
Sad. Very sad.
It's a down note. I'm so sorry.
What about you, Mark? Can you think of a conspiracy that you'd want to start? That is a hard one. On the spot, that is.
This is really bad, but I mean, it's been mentioned on our show, and it's still not.
It's not so.
We don't know if it's real or not. but the billionaire pedophile island in the Antarctica. Like, I
That is
don't
true.
want that to be real, but
That it probably is.
yeah, because I mean, we're the only ones talking about it.
All right,
That's-
Saul's intrigued.
So bizarre. I've never heard that before. That's
Yeah,
so bizarre
that was
that
us
it
too.
leads me to believe it must be true. Because that's a series of words you would not expect to put next together.
Nope.
Like a billionaire paedophile island. I'm like, all right, it's not a weird James Bond, but it's in Antarctica. And I'm like, what? Like, now
ice
you
there.
make me
No.
think it is real. What?
It's not
Why would
ice.
it be there?
That's what you think, right? Like you're taught that there's nothing but ice there. But
That's a
there
lot
could
of
be sections or really not all ice.
it's a lot of very cold old men just shivering on an island. That's.
And they got coats.
I'm guessing they're naked if it's that, you know, the
That
island's
party.
that way
I
inclined.
don't know if I want to go into too much detail. Let's
Wait,
say
you
that,
started
but-
this. I'm.
That is true.
I
This-
found my,
This is Mark's idea.
there's 11 minutes left. I'm just trying to speed through it. Shall we just?
Another one though would be to move along away from. Well, that came up on an episode because we were talking about how, like, what was it, giants are real or something along those lines. No,
Yeah, giants.
something like that. And then the guest brought up, he's all like, "Well, have you seen these billionaire boats? They're just like parked off of this green coastal area of Antarctica." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And so we start to
Which I
look
don't know,
into
like,
it a
Google
little
Maps is
bit.
picking that up, but
Yeah,
kind of
that's what we looked up. You don't remember?
Of course
obviously
I
not.
remember.
Yeah.
Of course I remember.
But either way, so we started looking it up, and there's a small, just south or north, I don't know when you get down to that in Antarctica and things like that, but from South America, there is a little piece, just like a little stretch that's shaped like a penis.
Oh, was it? I remember that part.
Well, it was like a,
Oh, like
Banana.
it's Italy?
Sure.
Like
I'm slightly
upside down
confused.
Italy?
When you said you wanted to move past this subject, what you meant was
yeah,
you wanted
now,
to go
now
into
He
I'm
wants to
going
go
into
further-
it deeper.
further
Well,
down.
I have to give it context of why this came up, I guess. I don't know. But I'm
All
just...
right, we'll have to bail you out of jail, Mark.
These are the chain events that came up to and why I like, hey, this kind of seems real. It should be real type thing. Another one we did, I think it was our episode 99.
Oh.
We discovered that the government might be listening to our podcast
Which goes hand in
And I
hand
kinda
with what we were
want
just
that.
talking about, I guess.
to be real.
That's
Do
just
you
good
want
for
that in?
listenership. That just for sponsorship and stuff. That's the listeners right up.
I know.
That's a win-win situation right there.
Exactly. That's why I want that kind to be true.
Also, if they are listening to your podcast after you've just exposed Pedophile Island, we're going to
They're on
be
to us.
locked in at maximum security. We're going to be
Yeah.
taken away after this. We'll never see them again.
Oh, we'll be here. We will be heroes.
Yeah, but they'll never know.
They won't know. They won't know. All right, next question.
Yeah, please.
Breaking the Antarctica ice. Who is the most famous person you've ever met?
Oh. This is a hard question. I've met a lot of famous people. I've worked with a lot of
Ooh,
famous
bougie.
people. No.
Fancy pants.
Yeah.
That's the pain. I think.
Or maybe
the
someone
most-
who's, it doesn't have to be the most famous person, but
Memorable. Most
like memorable. Who's like one that you, or maybe maybe on your like oh my gosh list. Like, oh wow, that's
I
you.
once met. This is not very. I don't even know who he is. Stephen Fry was one of the loveliest people I've ever met. Do you know Stephen Fry's? He's a national treasure here in Britain, and he
I want
is.
to say yes.
just-
That name sounds familiar.
He's like everyone quickly googling who Stephen Fry is,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
but like he's a film star, and he used to be in a little Fry and Laurie. So Hugh Laurie from House is actually just a bumbling Englishman, and they used to be a double comedy act together in the 80s, and in the 90s he was in films with like Emma Thompson, and then now he like narrates everything under the sun, and he turned out to be like the nicest guy in the world.
He's known for V for Vendetta. Is that right?
Oh, is he? V for Vendetta.
Hitchhiker's
He
Guide
narrates
to.
all the,
Oh,
all
look at
the
it coming
Harry
back to
Potter
Hitchhiker.
movies.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the something. What is that one? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
The Galaxy.
Apparently he was in that.
He would have been in that in the. But yeah, in Britain he literally is.
He's a
Yeah,
world
he's
treasure.
one of those national treasure types. He's like David Attenborough.
Nice. Wow.
Oh, he is the narrator in Hitchhiker.
Yeah, I knew that.
God,
I knew
can't
that.
talk. You knew that, yeah.
I didn't know
It's
that.
a very
I've
British
seen the
answer,
movie
but
like a million times.
but when you meet someone, you're like, you're actually a sound person. That's nice.
So that's always good because sometimes you meet people that you put up on that pedestal and they're like, "Get
Yeah.
out of here, you."
I have
Yeah,
met
we had someone say that they met so and so, but they didn't want to disclose their name because of the experience that they had.
Like
And
how
then
bad
we've had
they
other
were.
actors say that they peed on someone
Oh yeah.
accidentally.
accident.
Well, that was the person peeing
Yeah.
on the person, though. I thought, right? Not the famous person. Our guest peed
Yeah,
on
which
the
way
person.
around was
Them
that?
peeing on the famous person.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
not the famous person peeing on them.
No.
Yeah, no.
No.
Because that's
No,
almost
no.
like that's a gift. That's a story for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah. Like, oh, thank you. Normally, you have to pay extra for that.
yeah.
Bingo. Well, we greatly appreciate that you came and or I hope you enjoyed our.
Let's
our
let's end it on
episode.
urine. Let's
Yes.
end it on
Let's
peeing
end it
on
right
famous
on
people.
pee.
That's normally the bridge of the show.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it ends normally.
How do we get to that one part? That's it. It's like we
This
just
is how
need them
improv
saying.
works, right?
Yeah. That's what we
We just
learned
need
from
them
you
saying
today.
that Steven Seagal peed on them, and then we're done. That's all. We just get that soundbite.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap, guys.
Steven Seagal peed on me. There we go. We're done, guys. We're done. I wouldn't put it past him, to be fair. He's
No,
a bit-
yeah, he's
he's like
definitely
that. You
peed on
can
people,
tell.
Let's be real. You know that's for a fact.
You can
And he
quote
didn't
me on
care
that
about
one.
it either.
Yeah.
And I bet you a cowboy
What's he
hat was
gonna do?
involved.
He's
There was a
gonna
cowboy
arrest you
hat,
next
and
time
he
you're in
peed on somebody.
Louisiana or whatever.
Yeah, he's just going to do
Wherever
that.
he's a sheriff at now.
That not touching martial arts that he does nowadays.
Yes. Yes. It's a force field, right? You can't get
Yeah.
past it. I get it.
Wow, guys, it's been something. It's been
That's normally what we get. Yeah, that sounds about right.
no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
Again, yes, thank you for coming on. Sorry for ending on the yellow side of
Very nice.
the episode, but if you could just tell us, where can we find you if you want to disclose that now after you've been on the show?
What my exact address?
Yeah.
No,
of course, yeah.
where your social media and things like that, and then where we can catch this new series that you have.
So you can catch Chantelle Psychic PD Night Division. It is streaming on Reverie, which is they're an amazing streaming site that have shown us nothing but love for the show, and you can watch it free online or on your app. And it is reverie.tv, Chantelle Psychic PD Night Division. As for social media, all my own stuff, you can follow me on Twitter at I think Saul Marron Actor, and my Instagram's private because no one wants to see pictures of me picking strawberries. Do you know what I mean? That's all I really do
Pick
over the
strawberries.
weekend.
Nice.
So that's it. Chantelle Psychic PD Night Division.
And on that note, Amigos out.
Awesome.
This has been the Amigos PC. Make sure to like, subscribe, and review us on all your podcasting platforms. And visit us at amigospc.net. Get our entire library of content and Amigos merch. Till next time, adios.